It's always nice to sit back and look at the aquarium after it's all filled. What's up, adventurers? My name is Platinum Phoenix, and welcome back to Fossil Fighters Champions. Last time, we did a bunch of side quests here in Ilium Island, and this time, we're going to be taking on the third leg of the Caliosteo Super Cup. So, what is our new restriction? Hi, and welcome to the Fossil Station. The Ilium Island Battle Royale is currently underway. The tournament is open to Vivosaurs of the Jurassic period only. Please check the era portion of your fossil museum to ensure your chosen Vivosaurs will qualify. If you're competing, just go through the door to your left. Alright, well, it turns out that none of my team Vivosaurs are from the Jurassic period. So, what am I to do? Well, if we go to the VMM, I actually went ahead and I put together a full team of Jurassic Vivosaurs. And you can see the Vivosaurs I plan to use and the one that's kind of just in the back at rank 15. But yeah, let's go ahead and grab these guys. You can see there is a Guan, an Epidex, a Goyle, an Opteryx, and Compso. So those are the 5 Vivosaurs I am deciding that I wanted to use for my team fighting throughout this tournament. And with that being said, let's go ahead and start round 1. Old Oliver decided he'd put down a fishing pole and try his hand at fossil battle. You seem like a strong fighter. Let's see how you do. Alright, getting into this fight with Robinson. We lost by 3 speed again. Why does this keep happening? Well, I brought along Guan, Epidex, and Goyle to this fight, even though that he has 2 water-type Vivosaurs, and Guan really doesn't fare well against them. I brought Guan for a very specific reason. And you may have noticed the 5 Vivosaurs that I named for the team that I'm bringing are all support Vivosaurs. So you may be asking how I plan to do any damage at all during this tournament. And there's actually a couple of ways. But the first thing I want to do is I want to Rallying Cry to make sure that Guan doesn't get poisoned at the end of this turn. And to get rid of that Super Excite because I really don't want to deal with it. But the first way that I plan to deal damage is actually with Epidex. It has a regular poison and a golden poison skill, which are very good at dealing damage to these higher defense Vivosaurs. Because also, all of my Vivosaurs are only rank 18 right now, while all of theirs are rank 20. But to even it out, I gave my Vivosaurs golden super fossils, which gives them more stats than the silver fossils that your opponents will have. And the other way I plan to deal damage is actually with Guan here and the Great Unmasking, because I plan to cheat. I brought Guan for the pure purpose of using a Cretaceous Vivosaur in the T-Rex. Because we're not allowed to bring anything other than Jurassic Vivosaurs here, and the T-Rex is a Cretaceous Vivosaur, I decided to bring Guan in order to still use the T-Rex in these fights, because the T-Rex does so much damage, and it makes these fights so much easier. So that's the main damage dealing strategy, is just to hit them with the T-Rex. And I brought Goyle mostly because it has good support effects and it has Rallying Cry. So if, say, the T-Rex gets poisoned or super excited or confused or whatever, I can get rid of those status effects before they are a problem. And it really helps the T-Rex to live longer than it would otherwise. And you can see that they really like to status the T-Rex. Basically, as often as they physically can, they will status the T-Rex. And I wanted to make sure I had a way to get rid of those statuses if I really needed to. And that was what Goyle's whole purpose was. I really like the Caliosteo Super Cup because of these building restrictions. One of my favorite things in these games is team building, and being able to kind of go through the list of Vivosaurs and kind of pick and choose which Vivosaurs work well together and really show the strengths of each other is really fun to do for me. And being able to kind of cheat my way around some restrictions, like with Guan and the T-Rex here, is just one of my favorite things to do in these types of video games. It's so much fun to just be able to be like, oh, you're telling me I can't use this very specific Venusaur? Well, what if I use this other Venusaur that turns into it? Now what are you gonna do? And it's probably my favorite thing to do in these games. But unfortunately, since I'm only ranked 18 and am using semi-weak Venusaurs, especially the T-Rex against the water Venusaurs here, this fight probably is going to go on for quite a while. So what I will probably end up doing is speeding up a good chunk of this fight, because it's literally just going to be, they hit me, I cure any statuses they give me, I roar at them, I poison them, and we go back and forth from there. And that's basically what this whole fight is going to be. So we are going to be speeding up from here. Oh, something else that I forgot to talk about is actually that Epidex here is a backup Venusaur as well, so it has the linking ability, which is actually a really good ability to have in these fights, especially when I only have one real attacker that I'm going to be attacking with. So having the link ability actually makes it so these fights go a little bit faster than they would otherwise. Keyword a little bit, because it just did 7 damage. So all we have left is this Pole Lance, and I think what it's probably going to do, well, I was right, it's probably going to use Pole Lance power, which what it does is it inflicts random statuses onto a Venusaur, and it can inflict up to 3 statuses, I believe. Luckily, it only inflicted sleep onto Goyle, so I don't really need to deal with it. And we are just going to scare tactic this Pole Lance and hopefully take it out right here, because it's been a little bit of a slog getting through this fight with that Cryo, because that Cryo really did not want to die. But with that, that is Robinson's fight down, and we get 30 points for beating him. And for winning that fight, we get rank 19 onto Goyle, as well as rank 19 onto Comsto, which will be extremely helpful moving forward. Well, cut my hair and call me Baldy. You're a strong one, aren't you? Bolivar's really happy he got himself a fossil battle with you. Alright, and now there's nothing else to do but to start round 2. You, my rival! Don't speak! We need no words, only a battle! Okay, fight me once, shame on me. Fight me twice, shame on you. Fight me 3 times, and what are you even doing here? You are the only character that gets not 1, not 2, but 3 shots at the tournament? It makes no sense that Rosie would be here. But since she is here, I guess we need to actually talk about her fight. So she has a very similar team to me, actually. She has Guan and Comsto, which are Comsto, which I have both of them on my team right now. And she has the S Raptor in place of her Psymo. Basically, the S Raptor is supposed to be a stand-in for her Psymo, since Psymo is a Cretaceous Venusaur, and she's not allowed to use it in this fight. But basically what I want to try to do this first round, because I want to try to excite one of her Venusaurs, because I need to get that Compso into the attack zone as soon as possible without her being able to get it out of the attack zone. So I would be able to hit it, basically. If I can get Compso into the attack zone, basically, like, if they were excited right here, it would be a perfect example. But I want to get the Compso into the attack zone and knock it out, because it's giving minus 90 to both my attack and defense of my attack zone Venusaur, which is very bad and makes it really hard to use the T-Rex in any meaningful way. So my biggest obstacle right now is actually the Compso on her team and getting rid of it as soon as I physically can. And hopefully before she gets rid of my Compso, because basically whoever gets rid of the other person's Compso first wins. Because it makes it a lot easier for the opponent to deal, or it makes it a lot easier for you to deal damage or your opponent to deal damage if the Compso is no longer a factor. So I'm going to try to excite the Guan right here, which we don't get, unfortunately. We do a decent bit of damage, but actually, I'm going to scare tactics this Guan just to make sure that it can't great unmasking, or at least try to force it to not great unmasking, because if it great unmasks, this becomes a lot harder as well. Although I guess I would be able to lock it into the back, which might actually work out in my favor as well. But another reason I decided to bring Compso to this fight is actually because of the FP Plus ability that it has. And also, those support effects are really good with it giving minus... Mine only gives minus 80 right now because it's only rank 19, but it's still really good at making it so these Venusaurs are doing a lot less damage because all of them are close-range Venusaurs. But that's bad. I was not expecting them to rotate me. Actually, that's not as bad as I was expecting, because if it stays there, which it is, it may have just handed me the keys to taking it out. Because, yeah, I'm just going to rotate the T-Rex all the way into the front here, and we're going to Frightful Assault it. To hell with trying to roar at this thing. We're going to hit it with everything we got. Fire! 74, 110, 146, and the Compso down, making this a lot easier of a fight. That is so good for us. That makes this so much easier because they can no longer lower our stats while we can still lower theirs using, of course, my own Compso. So it's weird that she doesn't want a great unmask, but I guess it's possible that she doesn't want to deal with... Also, by the way, nice one crit. But I think it's possible that she doesn't want to deal with the bad support effects if I were to lock her into the support zone with it. Maybe what the AI is thinking. But I think I want to take out... the Guan next, because it'll make it a lot easier to take out the S-Raptor if the Guan is gone. Because then we don't have to deal with the plus 90% that the Guan is giving. And I think I could do 157 damage with a Frightful Assault. And then also, if we get rid of the Guan... Okay, we did get it. If we take care of the Guan, then we also apply the minus 80 to the S-Raptor, meaning that the S-Raptor is going to do a ton less damage, especially to the Compso, which is what it really wants to take out. But since it's the only one left, and it's a close-range Venusaur, it makes it a lot harder for it. And I think it's actually... Yeah, 2, 3, 4. Nice 9 damage. Comso is so good, and I'm so happy that the Ilium Island Super Cup allows me to show just how good Comso is by only allowing Jurassic Vivosaurs, but Comso is one of the best support Vivosaurs in the game, just because it makes attack zone Vivosaurs on your opponent's team almost useless. Also, nice scare. If we could take away all of its options, it's gonna make this so much easier. Yep, all of its options are gone. It physically cannot hurt us now, because if it could, it would have, because it has 900 FP. But we are just going to rotate to the front, run one more time, and end this fight with Rosie once and for all with some scare tactics. Fight and tail whip. 81, 119, and that's a dead S-Raptor. And with that, that is the third fight with Rosie. Quite possibly the easiest fight with Rosie we have had so far. And we get 40 points for winning that fight. And that means we get a rank up for Guan, which is very good for us, having our attacker even more powerful. As well as a rank up for Opteryx, which is really only here for like moral support. I only ranked it up in case I needed to and didn't want to use Guan. But also rank 19 for Epidex. Well, nuts. I lost again, but still, it was a lot of fun. I'm heading back to Vivosaur Island for some additional training. I hope to meet you again sometime. Alright, and with Rosie finally taken out for the third time, it's time for the final match of the Ilium Island Super Cup. And of course, since we've already fought Rupert and Pauline, it's no one else but Todd. Hey, Phoenix, check it out. I actually made it through. There's no way I'm losing to you today, so just forget it. Alright, take it on Todd one more time. And we outspeed him by a lot. I decided to bring the exact same team that I used against Rosie because the FP plus that Comso has, plus the insane support effects that it has, mixed with the fact that Todd has a close-range Vivosaur, a mid-range Vivosaur, and a long-range Vivosaur, it makes it a lot easier to fight this fight overall. But I think what I want to do is I'm going to try to excite this Aloe, which also, I'm so happy that he has an Aloe in this fight, because it draws back to the first time that we saw Vivosaurs in the game, where he was scared of an Aloe, and now he finally has the starter that he always should have had. It's just so good, and I'm so happy they actually did this eventually. But I think I want to take out this Seismo first, because since it is the long-range Vivosaur, it will be the most trouble for the T-Rex here to actually deal with. So I think I'm going to Frightful Assault the Seismo. Also, I want to just bring up, look how cool that coloration is on the Stego. If nothing else for the Stego, that coloration might be a reason to look into it, because that's such a cool color. Also, I guess I should also bring it up that Todd has used the silver leg fossils on all of his Vivosaurs, giving them the different colorations. And that means all of them are slightly more defensive and evasive than they regularly would be. They also have 20 plus LP than they normally would. So it's something to keep in mind, but it's not the biggest deal in the world. And I think I'm just going to re-attack the Seismo, even though the Aloe is right in front of us. So that's 58, 86, and 104, which isn't quite enough to take it out. And also, I'm not attacking with Comso because it will do negative damage. Comso has like 4 attacks, and its attacks are like 33 power. So, you know, not a whole ton of strength behind this thing. But yeah, with those support effects, You don't need power. Let the T-Rex deal with everything. And to prove it, 9, 8, 16. It did 33 damage with its most powerful skill. That's how strong those support effects are. I'm just gonna keep gushing about these support effects because they are so good. And it's the one reason to use Comso. And also, the only reason I didn't end up using Comso on my playthrough team is because, one, I really wanted to give Trima its time in the sun. And also, Trima can at least do damage with Link and its skills. Comso is straight up just a supportive Vivasaur, and if you are using it, you are just using it for its support. So while it is good, I just didn't think it was good enough to make the final team of my playthrough team. So that's my justification for not using Comso while I'm gushing about it so much. But that is Seismo down, meaning that we are done with the long-range Vivasaur, and we can finally take on these closer-range Vivasaurs and make our life a lot easier. I think I want to take out the Stego next, since it has that Confuse skill. But also, I might just try to take out this Aloe to force him into using Stego more. Also, nice 1 damage. It's so fun to watch it say 0 and then 1 every time. Like, this is going to do no damage. No, it did 7, actually. Good job, Stego. You did damage. But we are just going to, once again, I think we're just going to Frightful Assault the Stego. And that should take it out between the minus 80 defense it has and the plus 29% defense we have. How much does it actually do to the attack zone Vivasaur? 67 or 76, 114, 152, which actually decent amount of damage. Is Comsto close range? Mid range. How much damage will this do? I don't think it's going to be enough, but might as well. Actually, that did a lot more than I was expecting it to from a Comsto. And next turn, we're going to take out the Stego, and the Aloe is going to be all on its lonesome. And I think this is only going to last 2 more turns. Aloe Fury. How much damage is this going to do? Like, 2? Maybe 3? 3, 2, 3. So it did 8 damage. And Stego, are you going for your Confuse again? You are not. What are you hitting? Oh, you're hitting the concept. That's fine, actually. I'm less concerned about that. And for this turn, I think we are basically going to do the same thing. I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to Roar, because the Roar will allow me to hit both of them, which will take out the Stego, as well as do some damage to the Aloe. And then I think... Do I have enough to confuse? I don't. So I think what I'm going to do is not auto. I think I'm just going to skip this turn, let the Aloe come to me, and we're just going to fight Aloe to Tricera. Or not Tricera, T-Rex. All right, Aloe Fury, you're going to do another 8 damage. 7. Oh, he crit. 6. 12. Did like 22. 25 damage. Nice crit. And hopefully, I'm hoping this is the final turn. So we're going to rotate forward. And we are going to Frightful Assault and see if this is enough to finally take down this Aloe. Bite, Tail Whip, Flamethrower. 75, a 111, 148. How much life does it have left? And it's scared, but it also only has 86 left. So I think what we're going to do is just hit it with everything and hope that it stops moving. 28, 48. Okay, Comso, you need to do 10 damage. Do you have it in you? Yes, you do. Good job, Compso. You did it. This team was such a blast. I'm so happy that they forced me to make this team. And for beating Todd, we get 50 points. And with that, every single Vivasaur is going to get a rank up. So first up is Guan to rank 20. Then we have Compso to rank 20, finally having its perfect support effects. Next up is Boyle, which is another Vivasaur that is really good with its support effects. Optrix gets up to rank 17 because I did not want to really use it and was only backup. And last but not least is Epidex, up to rank 20, again, with its really good support effects. Wow, you're way tougher than the first time we fought. I worked hard for those Vivasaurs, you know, so we'll just have to battle again. Good job in the final, dude. And you too, Todd. Pretty radical, huh? I just love fossil fighting. Anyway, here's a Rad Champs prize pack for you. And for winning, we get the Mini Todd icon, the Cheerful Todd icon, as well as the body mask. You are way tougher than I thought, dude. I wonder what would happen if you and me ever rocked a battle. Oh, and if you want to slay another tourney, they're about to start one at the Bare Bones Brigade base. Alright, and now that we are done with the third round of the Caliosteo Super Cup, I think we need to head over to Ribular Town once more to look at the new icons we just got. Alright, back with Ike once again to see these icons. And I believe the mini one is going to be, yes, it's right here. The Mini Todd, which is actually pretty cute compared to some of the other mini ones. It doesn't have any, like, story relevant parts like Mini Pauline, but I still like it quite a bit. And then the other icon that we are looking for is actually, it's right here. The Cheerful Todd icon, which, again, it's just a really neat icon to get. But since those are the only two icons we've got, and the body mask is just like the arms and the leg mask, where it just gives you bodies if you wear it, I think we are going to end this episode here. So I hope that everyone enjoyed watching. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Next time, we have a few more fights to take care of. But until then, happy adventuring.